I know going onto TikTok and seeing the TikTok boys with the curly hair, the chiseled jawlines, and the mullet at the back has to get super annoying. Let's be honest right now. I know you have a super cute face and the chubby cheeks and the round cheeks that everyone just wants to pull. I know you probably hate it and you probably want a more chiseled jawline and more defined cheekbones. What is the first thing people see when they meet you? It's your face. So if your face isn't the way you want it to be, or it's not the way people would deem it to be attractive, then something's got to change. So if you want to have a more defined jawline and more defined cheekbones, this video is for you, because I'm going to unpack tips that got me looking from this to this. So why should you listen to me? So as you can see in my before and after pictures, 2020 to 2021, and honestly some of 2022 as well, was probably the fattest I've ever been in my life. Probably my entire life I've been a sub 190, but during this time I was up to almost 212. So I was almost 22 pounds overweight as from what I've usually been accustomed to, but not 190 is honestly the highest I've ever been prior to this. So say my almost most common normal range for me was around 180 to 185. So to be pushing 212 was something that was completely abnormal to me. During the time, I didn't realize how puffed out my face had become, as well as how my jawline was completely, and to see how my jawline was completely gone. This was only something that I actually really saw when I saw before and after pictures when I lost a bunch of weight. I look like a completely different person. I've been in that same struggle as you guys, and I've honestly been able to really just change my face in a rather short period of time, which is why I want to give you tips that I used and I'm still somewhat using to get an even more defined cheekbones and just overall face, but especially the jawline as well. If you don't believe me as to how it makes you more attractive, I'm just gonna read off right from my screen as to like, literally if you type in, why does a jawline make you more attractive? This is literally the first search that came up that I'm gonna read to you directly. It says, strong chins with a defined jawline are often associated with dominance and power. People with strong jaws are often assumed to have assertive personalities and are seen as successful and are commonly considered to be more attractive. This is literally the first search that came up. Believe yourself to be like ugly and unattractive right now. Honestly, just lose by honestly just getting more defined cheekbones and a more defined jawline itself, which will significantly improve attraction. So let's get into how to do it. So before I jump into exactly to what I did, which is honestly really simple, if you search up how to get a more defined jawline, you'll get a plethora, everything stemming from facial exercises to those chewy toys that you see all over social media, which are honestly a scam, but people promoting it that if you chew on this for like 20 minutes, 30 minutes to an hour a day, you'll get a more defined cheekbones. And if you just look it up and do some research, there's actually no strong research that shows that this has anything to actually help you with getting a more defined jawline at all. And there's a lot of sources that actually call this to be a scam. There's really no research at all that proves that facial exercises or chewing on these like toys have anything to do with it at all. So I strongly suggest you don't even try buying one of these or wasting your time doing these facial jaw exercises. And speaking of which, I honestly came across something called mewing, which I only literally found out an hour before recording this video. I had no idea what this was, but apparently it's just where you keep your tongue on the top of your roof to get a more like structured face. So like, if you do it like this, you see how my jaw goes up. I'll put a picture of it as well. Looking up how long to do this a day, it ranges literally anywhere from 20 to 30 minutes a day, all the way up to 6 hours. Imagine like literally taking time out of your day to do this. 20 minutes all the way up to 6 hours. Who would actually set that amount of time every single day to literally improve their facial structure by doing this? Like, imagine how stupid you would look, as well as, again, I don't think there's any studies exactly showing that this has any significant benefits. And if it does, it'll probably take years before you see any results. Only thing that you have to do to get a more defined face, meaning more defined cheekbones and a sharper jawline, is to literally lose your overall body fat percentage. And the ideal number that, according to research, says anywhere between 12 to 14%. I honestly think that you can start seeing results at anywhere between 16 and 17% as well. But ideally, I think to get that really strong jawline, it says somewhere between 12 and 14%. And to get like that model-esque looking face, somewhere between 12% and less, like so sub 12%. If you literally just do a Google If you literally just do a Google search to see like body fat percentage calculators, you'll get several results. I strongly suggest using the ones that make you like measure your neck and your waist as well. There's also like things called DEXA scans, which are like hundreds of dollars, which I don't suggest you do. Like those are just really, really expensive and excessive. I don't think you need to do all of that. So I honestly don't know what mine is directly, but I think mine is somewhere in between 14 and 16% right now, from just my calculations that I've done, but this could also be a little bit off. To get started, I just suggest you look this up online. Now, to just give you a estimate as to what my body fat percentage was in 2020 and 2021, it was somewhere around 20 to 25%, which according to the National American Health Council, I think it's called, is literally obese. So you must lower your body fat percentage to obviously sub 20, but ideally between the 12 to 16% range to actually see a literal like structured line here underneath the jaw, as well as more defined cheekbones. Now, the next question you must be asking is, how do we actually get to this 12 to 16% range? Now, the next question you must be asking is, how do you get to this 12 to 16% range? And the simple answer is you must be doing more cardio. That's it. Lifting weights will get you more muscle and will like tighten the fat around these muscle areas. However, firstly, one, there's no muscle exercise at the gym that you can do for your face. The only thing you can do is to do more cardio, because cardio burns fat. I don't know what all this BS online is that cardio burns calories and is replaced by the next meal and stuff like that. Cardio is absolutely essential just to your overall health, but it's super, super beneficial if you want a more defined face and just a more structured face overall. There's a bunch of stuff online just saying how lifting weights is the most important. And while lifting weights is crucial for getting a bigger and more muscular physique, if you want to improve your face, you have to do more cardio. But cardio is just overall good for cardio overall is just super important for lowering the risk of cardiovascular disease, as well as just provides so much more mental clarity and will get you looking into much more lean and trimmer state rather than just lifting weights alone. So while it does help you just look physically more attractive, there's so many more health benefits associated to cardio than there are with lifting weights. If you're not doing any cardio right now, if you're not doing any cardio right now, firstly, that's not only really bad for your health and increases the risk of cardiovascular disease, but it also significantly diminishes the chances of you getting that more defined cheekbones and face that you're looking for. So I highly suggest adding more cardio to your workouts, or at least part of like during the week, to do it at least 2 to 3 times a week. I think 4 times is also fine, but to start at least 2 days a week, I would say roughly 3 to 4 times is probably better, especially if you want to see results faster. But also, more than anything, it's just better for your health. In terms of what cardio to do, I strongly suggest doing ones that involve your entire body and not ones where you're seated. So for example, the seated bike, well, there's one that's just like the regular seated bike, and there's one where you're like literally almost like lying back. I strongly suggest not using those, as well as the seated rowing machine where you're seated and you're just rowing back. Any ones that are seated are going to have way less impact because, again, you're just using like your upper body or your lower body, whereas like full form cardio where you're using your entire body is way more effective because, again, your entire body's at use and that's going to burn more calories, which is going to lead to burning more fat. So the exact cardio that I suggest you do is something called HIIT workouts, also known as high intensity interval workouts, where basically you do a really intense workout for just 20 to 30 minutes. If you just go onto YouTube and follow HIIT workout, literally do any of them, they're about 20 to 30 minutes, and you get your heart rate up really, really high for a short period of time, and there's very minimal rest in between. There are so many research studies that prove that these HIIT workouts are so much more effective at burning more fat than any other workout, simply because the intensity of your workout is really high, you burn more calories, but at the same time, they've been linked to show that you continue to burn fat for an additional 24 to 48 hours after doing that workout. There is no workout that burns that much fat and also continues to burn fat days later. Whereas, for example, just running outside, which is also good form cardio because you're using your entire body, does not do the same effectiveness that a HIIT workout does. Other major benefit to doing HIIT workouts, especially if you're trying to gain muscle at the same time, is that HIIT workouts are known to not burn muscle, but strictly burn fat, whereas steady state cardio, such as running outside or doing swimming or playing a sport, not so much playing a sport, but like doing any form of cardio where your heart rate stays the same the entire time is known to actually burn muscle alongside fat. So if you're one of those people that are like, I'm doing cardio for my health, but I'm trying to lift at the same time and I'm not gaining any muscle at all, there's a very high chance that you're doing cardio for either too long or you're doing cardio that is just steady state. And the benefit of high intensity workouts is that you get your heart rate really high, burn the most amount of fat in a short period of time, and it continues on to the next day. And you can do this all without burning the muscle that you've worked really hard to do while lifting weights as well. So the benefits of HIIT workouts are honestly the most insane. If you're a complete beginner, start with just running outside. If you have a pool nearby, like in my gym I do, just try swimming there. But again, try changing up the pace. Try to swim a little bit faster, slow it down, faster, slow it down, so your heart rate is continuously in a cycle rather than at a steady state. Just remember, if anything, to do a full body type of cardio and not do any seated ones, because there's really not much benefit to those at all. And I strongly suggest doing HIIT workouts if you can, because they're really, really short and you just have to do them 2 to 3 times a week, because again, the fat burns onto the next day. A bonus tip I want to give you to get a more defined jawline is to honestly just incorporate harder foods into your diet. I think nowadays in the modern age, our foods are just way, way too soft. Everything from just like rice to bread to just squishy foods. Our jaws and our teeth are not designed to chew onto hard things anymore, which is why more and more people are having rounder like faces. To give you an example, if you were to look up what our primal ancestors look like and look up skull pictures, I might just actually include one in this video. If you look at their jawlines, it comes out to almost here. Like their jaws were like insanely big and were extremely defined. And the reason for that was, well, one, they had a really low body fat percentage because they didn't eat any processed or sugary foods. But at the same time, they were always moving. So they were kind of doing cardio pretty much all day, every day, because they were nomads, right? They were continuously moving around. But more importantly, everything that they ate was like pretty much raw for the most part. Raw fruits, raw vegetables, raw meat, everything. So their jaws have become so much more defined and structured by eating these hard foods on a continuous basis. So eating things from like apples or like carrots to celery or like anything that's like really hard, not really hard, but like harder than usual foods, and just incorporate this into your diet. By doing this, you're already like helping your jawline rather than setting 20 minutes a day or 30 minutes a day to chew on this weird toy that you got from online. Just incorporate it into your diet. And there is research that actually shows this has more of a benefit than these toys online that you can just chew on. And it looks less goofy as well when you do it this way. So defined jawline as well as a more structured face. Remember, the only thing that you really have to do is lower your body fat percentage to around the 12 to 16% range. And you really just do this by doing more cardio than you're currently doing. And I strongly suggest doing HIIT workouts because they use your entire body and they burn more fat than any cardio like at all. And they burn fat the next day without burning your muscles. So there's literally only benefits to doing this, as well as try to incorporate more harder foods into your diet, because not only are they good for your teeth, but at the same time, they're just known for structuring your face a little bit more. And there's research out there that actually shows that the reason why people have more rounder faces is that our foods today are just way too soft. So if you use all of these tips and you do this every week for 3 months, there's absolutely no way you won't see significant results. Obviously, wherever you're starting at right now might depend on how long it takes. But if you do this for 3 months, you're going to drop at least 5 to 7% of fat from where you are right now. And if you combine this with just eating clean, you're going to see astronomical results. And it's honestly what I did. I didn't do anything crazy where I was really watching my diet. I just ate a little bit cleaner, but I just made sure to do the right forms of cardio for the right amount of time, as well as just incorporating harder foods into my diet, which I already kind of do. It's not something that I researched for, but if you do this continuously for 3 months, you'll see significant results. So I hope you guys got value from this video. And if you did, please leave a like, comment, and subscribe. And I look forward to seeing you guys in the next one. Peace.